you need to be brave on the high-speed sections like I am now, as you see. And again, just making sure that I don't clip the edges. Hey everyone, hope you all doing well. My name is PJ and today I'll be guiding you around New Zealand in Dirt Rally 2.0. I'm going to take you on a live run through one of these stages so that you have some tips ahead of your next rally. And as you can see, we are here in one of the most beautiful locations in the game, and one of the first things you'll notice is that the gravel is fairly smooth around here, which means you can take it at fairly high speed. And we are going to be driving the Skoda Fabia R5 today, which is a lovely little car, I have to say, and we're going to go straight into it. Make sure that I've got soft tires just to be absolutely certain, which I do. So here we are on the road. I've turned the co-driver off, so let's get going as we rev it up on the line and get going. And as you can see, it's very smooth gravel, so you can take it at reasonably high speed. It's not too bumpy, it's fairly smooth on the wheel as well. And New Zealand is one of those locations that has two different types of environment. You've got flowy sections like this, and then later on it opens up into more very fast sections, which I will talk about when I get there. But the most important thing is, in the flowy sections you need to keep your momentum going, and you will see in some of the corners there is a bit of a camber to them where the inside is lower than the outside. And you can use that to your advantage, because it's like a banked turn on an oval racing track, where if you hook up the car just right, you can take great speed on it. But now we're getting into a more faster section right here, and you need to be very careful of the edges on both sides, because at high speed, if you clip one of those, it's very easy to spin or roll the car as you get through here. And wherever you can on the more flat sections, you can dip a wheel into the grass, but again, you need to be reading the road ahead of you here, because if you notice that, like on the left hand side here, it's a little bit bumpier, then it gets a little bit more risky and you shouldn't cut it. But you can see that the flow is the most important thing here, and getting into the weight transfer, especially in the slower sections where you throw the car one way then the other way, and then it just feels totally right. But it's in the high speed sections you need to be worried, because if you go too fast, obviously just one tiny bump or one tiny mistake is going to pitch you over that fence and into the nearest field. But it is a very lovely and beginner friendly location to drive in, and you'll notice this especially when you're starting out, that on some of the slower cars you can just sail through this place. Like, I'm feeling no pressure through the wheel at all. Good save. And getting into the high speed sections there, you can see where that just one minor bump could have been a very big incident. But you need to be brave on the high speed sections like I am now, as you see. And again, just making sure that I don't clip the edges, and then showing a little bit of restraint as I go over the jump. And then you come into another slower section down here, I believe. Or perhaps not, it speeds up a little bit more as we get towards the end of that fast section, and now it gets into a slightly more slower uphill section here. And again, in the slower sections you are more concerned with weight transfer, whereas in the high speed sections you're more concerned with stability. And one tip for stability is to just lift off the throttle just a little bit over some of the jumps, but really it's about your steering. You need to be very light and very precise with it. But ultimately, New Zealand is a lot of fun to drive on. It is, I would say, my favourite location in the entire game, next to Scotland. But it is quite lovely, and if you want more tips on it, or more tips on Dirt Rally 2.0, you can check the video on that side of the screen in a couple of seconds. As we get here towards the end, hope that proved useful to you, and I'll catch you again soon. Farewell.